Benito Mussolini was born in 1883 in a small town in northern Italy, into a family that already reflected many of the tensions that would later shape his life. His father was a blacksmith with strong socialist and revolutionary ideas, while his mother was a deeply religious schoolteacher. From an early age, Mussolini showed intelligence and passion, but also aggression and impatience. As a student, he often clashed with authority, and these early conflicts hinted at a personality driven by ambition and a desire for control. In his youth, Mussolini was attracted to socialism. He worked as a teacher and journalist and became an active member of the Italian Socialist Party. He wrote fiery articles criticizing inequality, capitalism, and the monarchy, gaining a reputation as a powerful speaker and writer. At this stage of his life, Mussolini saw himself as a revolutionary fighting for the working class. However, his beliefs were unstable, and his loyalty to socialism would not last. The turning point came with World War I, while most socialists opposed the war. Mussolini began to support Italy's participation, believing that war could strengthen the nation and create opportunities for radical change. This position led to his expulsion from the Socialist Party in 1914. Instead of ending his career, this moment freed Mussolini to reinvent himself. He founded his own newspaper and gradually replaced socialist ideas with nationalism, militarism, and the belief that a strong leader was more important than democratic debate. After the war, Italy was in crisis. The country faced economic hardship, unemployment, social unrest, and widespread disappointment. Many Italians felt betrayed by the results of the war, believing that Italy had not received the respect or territory it deserved. In this atmosphere of fear and frustration, Mussolini saw his opportunity. He formed the fascist movement, which promised order, national pride, and strength. Fascism rejected democracy, individual freedoms, and socialism, instead promoting obedience, unity, and loyalty to the state. Mussolini's followers, known as Blackshirts, used violence and intimidation against political opponents, especially socialists and labor organizers. Rather than stopping them, many business leaders, landowners, and politicians supported Mussolini, seeing him as a defense against revolution. In 1922, Mussolini organized the March on Rome, a show of force designed to pressure the government. Although the march itself was chaotic and limited, it succeeded politically. The King of Italy, fearing civil war, invited Mussolini to become prime minister. Once in power, Mussolini moved carefully at first, presenting himself as a legal leader. Over the next few years, however, he dismantled democratic institutions step by step. Opposition parties were banned, the press was controlled, and critics were imprisoned or silenced. By 1925, Mussolini had established a dictatorship, calling himself Il Duce, meaning the leader. Italy became a one-party state where loyalty to Mussolini was expected, and dissent was dangerous. Mussolini's regime focused heavily on propaganda. He portrayed himself as a tireless, heroic figure who worked endlessly for Italy's greatness. Posters, speeches, and school textbooks celebrated his image. Fascism emphasized discipline, masculinity, and national unity, while discouraging independent thinking. Although the regime did introduce some public works and infrastructure projects, these achievements were often exaggerated, and many social problems remained unresolved. In foreign policy, Mussolini dreamed of building a new Roman Empire. He believed that Italy deserved to dominate the Mediterranean and Africa. In 1935, Italy invaded Ethiopia, using modern weapons against a poorly equipped country. The invasion was brutal and widely condemned, but it temporarily boosted Mussolini's popularity at home. However, it also isolated Italy internationally and pushed Mussolini closer to Adolf Hitler's Nazi Germany. The alliance with Hitler marked another dangerous shift. Although Mussolini had initially been cautious about Nazi racial ideology, he eventually adopted anti-Semitic laws in 1938 under German influence. These laws discriminated against Jewish Italians, stripping them of rights and dignity. This decision damaged Italy's social fabric and remains one of the darkest aspects of Mussolini's rule. When World War II began, Mussolini hoped to gain easy victories by joining Germany. Instead, Italy proved unprepared for modern warfare. Italian forces suffered defeats in North Africa, Greece, and elsewhere. As the war dragged on, shortages, bombings, and military failures weakened public support for the regime. Mussolini's image as a strong leader collapsed under the weight of reality. By 1943, the situation was desperate. Allied forces invaded Italy, and members of Mussolini's own government turned against him. He was arrested and removed from power by order of the king. Although German forces later rescued him and placed him in charge of a puppet state in northern Italy, his authority was gone. He was no longer a powerful dictator, but a symbol of a failing ideology. In 1945, as the war came to an end, Mussolini attempted to flee. He was captured by Italian partisans and executed. His death marked the final collapse of fascist rule in Italy. The country would go on to abolish the monarchy and rebuild itself as a republic, determined never to repeat the same mistakes. Today, Mussolini is remembered as a warning rather than a hero. His rise to power shows how fear, instability, and anger can open the door to authoritarianism. His rule demonstrates how propaganda and violence can destroy democratic institutions. And his downfall proves that regimes built on oppression and false promises are ultimately unsustainable. The story of Mussolini is not just about one man, but about a society that allowed power to concentrate in the hands of a leader who claimed to have all the answers. Studying his life helps us understand the importance of critical thinking, political responsibility, and the protection of democratic values in any era.